Welcome to TV20 News. We are Cleveland. I'm Leah Haslage. The City of Cleveland honored those who served our country at a special Veterans Day ceremony. The program was held at the Rotunda of Cleveland City Hall. Mayor Frank Jackson, a veteran who served in Vietnam, spoke on the importance of Veterans Day.
Veterans Day is really important to us. Why? Because it keeps us knowing and remembering those who have sacrificed so that we could have the things that we have here in this country now. Without Veterans Day, maybe people wouldn't remember as well. So that is why Veterans Day is so important.
The keynote speech was delivered by Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Jackson. Judge Jackson served as a Marine combat officer during the Vietnam War. The judge spoke about the bond between all veterans.
Because if we look at a similar situation, the veteran looks at it differently than others. And I'll give you an example. If I saw the mayor of Cleveland walking down the street, Mayor Jackson, I would see him as a veteran who is the mayor. And I suspect non-veterans who may know he is a veteran would see him as the mayor who happens to be a veteran. That difference in focus is what I think is the essence of how veterans view each other.
Several people won awards for their service to veterans and the community, including Cleveland Municipal Court Judge Charles Patton, who oversees the Veterans Treatment Court.
And we all know somebody who's died of an overdose. We've all been to that funeral of a loved one. But what we're doing in treatment court works, and it needs the support of all of us. It costs a little money to do this, costs a little time, but it pays off in the end.
After the formal ceremony, the veterans lined up to march in the annual Veterans Day Parade down Lakeside.
Hey! Fire! Hey! Fire! Hey! Fire!
Mayor Frank Jackson led the parade, now in its 5th year. If you missed the Veterans Day ceremony and parade, we've got you covered. You can watch both only on TV20. Cleveland's veterans were invited to a special dinner at the Wade Park Domiciliary. The dinner was put on by the Volunteers of America, Ohio and Indiana. Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson, a veteran again of the Vietnam War, was a special guest at this year's dinner. The mayor spoke about what he learned from a recent speech by Vietnam veteran and Cuyahoga County Common Pleas Court Judge Michael Jackson.
And he said the thing about veterans and the bond of veterans is that when different people, if they would mention like the mayor of the city of Cleveland, he would see the mayor of the city of Cleveland as a veteran who happens to be the mayor. Where other people would see the mayor of the city of Cleveland as the mayor who is also a veteran. So that is how we look at things and the priorities that we set.
Dennis Kresak, CEO Emeritus for Volunteers of America, Ohio and Indiana, welcomed the veterans to the dinner and spoke of his commitment to them.
But for veterans, I feel I have a sacred obligation for what you've done for your country, the service and sacrifices you've made, not only you, but your families, your loved ones. And I sincerely appreciate what you've done for us. And I hope that whatever we do for you in this building, that you're benefiting from it. I hope you enjoy what we have to offer. And again, that you work your programs each and every day to become better human beings.
Volunteers of America provides supportive services for veterans. LaRon Clayton, program director for the organization, said the Wade Park Domiciliary is an important place for veterans in need.
We have veterans that come from a number of places, especially those that may be coming from being chronically homeless. We have veterans that are coming out of incarceration. And so this is kind of a launch pad, if you will, for them to come in. We wrap our services around them for them to be able to get back into society in what we call functional independence. So whatever that means to that particular veteran. But it is a very unique, individualized programming that we provide at the domiciliary.
For more information on Volunteers of America, Ohio, and Indiana, visit their website, voaohin.org. The Cleveland Division of Police celebrated their own in the 1st District at their annual Community Relations Awards ceremony. Mayor Frank Jackson, while welcoming the crowd, congratulated those being honored.
You know, these community relations police district award ceremonies are some of the best because it really demonstrates that in order to be successful in a neighborhood, in order to be successful in the city, you do need a relationship between the police and the citizen. Without that, it doesn't work.
Police Chief Calvin Williams also offered his congratulations to the officers and the citizens who were recognized.
Thank you to our community for coming out and supporting these officers and the people in your community. Definitely congratulations to our officers here. They do a fine job day in and day out. And the citizens that help us, that are getting recognized tonight, thank you. Because not everybody steps forward and does things to help their community. And you guys did that. We appreciate that. We really do.
7 officers won the Special Commendation Award, while 11 officers were awarded the Commander's Letter. Tanya Dissel was awarded the Citizen's Pin for her role in assisting a young man with a gunshot wound.
Mrs. Tanya Dissel observed that the male was badly injured and sprang into action. While awaiting EMS and police arrival, Mrs. Dissel was able to apply pressure to the male's gunshot wound and keep him calm. Most importantly, Mrs. Dissel didn't just stand on the sidelines, she took action that assisted in saving the male's life. Officers Litton and McConnell responded to this assignment for a male shot. Once on scene, officers located the injured male who was receiving first aid from Mrs. Dissel. A large crowd had formed. Officer Litton assisted in securing the scene and creating a safe zone, while Officer McConnell applied a tourniquet to the male to slow the bleeding from the gunshot wound. It is an honor to bestow upon you, Mrs. Dissel, the Citizens Award Pin, and Officers Litton and McConnell with a Special Commendation Award.
Over 7,000 people from all over the nation attended the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, also known as SHEP, National Conference at the Huntington Bank Convention Center in downtown Cleveland. Of the 1,100 SHEP members that attended the event, 80% are engineering students. Mayor Frank Jackson says they have a chance to make a difference.
You have an opportunity to engineer the future. And I'm not just talking about whether it's roads or bridges or buildings or things like that. I'm talking about engineering the future as to how we behave and how we interact, because you have that ability. And because you're predominantly Hispanic, that means that you have had challenges. And your success and where you've gotten to so far means that you have learned how to deal with challenges and overcome those challenges, overcome those obstacles. So you have the ability, young people, to do the things that people like me are unable to do for whatever reason. But you have the ability to reshape the future, not only of your profession, but our society and the country.
One such SHEP student looking to make a difference is Andreas Nunez, who explains the mission of the association and the conference.
We're an organization that promotes the success of Hispanic and Latinx students and professionals as well. So I come from the University of Houston trying to develop myself professionally and find a job. So one of the things we really appreciate within the Spanish culture, it is the word family, right? We all want to be a big family, inclusive to anyone and everyone who comes within our reach. And so to be able to promote that, to be able to, for that to be one of our values, which is family, we want to make sure to carry that everywhere we go, even when we're here in a professional setting. We want to make sure to be inclusive, be a family, and all of us work together towards one goal.
Fellow University of Houston engineering student Paula Diaz agrees familia is an integral part of the conference.
It brings a sense of community and kind of like love and support for our students. So sometimes in school, in college, we lose that kind of sense of familia since a lot of us are away from home. So SHEP brings really that sense of community and support from our members. So that's something that we hope all of our members get when they're a part of SHEP.
We asked what they thought of their first Cleveland experience.
It's very pretty, it's very different to Houston, very cold. We're definitely not used to this weather, but it's been, good to have a taste of what it's like to live in a chilly city. But it's very pretty. I hope we get to, go to some museums and explore more about the rock and roll and all the things that Cleveland has to offer.
The city itself has been amazing. You're able to see some of those old-timey buildings coupled with your new fancy complete glass-made buildings, and that's a nice dichotomy at the same time, and really a nice view to see when you look at the lake and you walk around and you're able to see the scenery that this city brings with it.
For more information, visit shpe.org. After touring several Cleveland neighborhoods, people made up of both inside and outside Northeast Ohio gathered together at Merwin's Wharf for a discussion on middle neighborhoods. Middle neighborhoods is a category of neighborhoods that are neither clearly healthy and thriving nor overtly distressed, among other things. Mayor Frank Jackson spoke to the crowd about why he believes middle or stable neighborhoods matter.
It's the stable neighborhoods that have helped us go through some very challenging times, and it has helped the city be able to be stable during those challenging times. It is also those stable neighborhoods that has helped us as we looked into the future and decided, as we began to change our policy, change direction, what should we do and how should we do it? It's the stable neighborhoods that allow us to do that, because without them, we would not have the resources to do that.
After opening remarks, a panel of experts took to the stage for an open discussion about the role of middle neighborhoods today. One of the panelists was Philadelphia Councilwoman Sherelle Parker, who shared her own insights from her city.
So in the city of Philadelphia, the 9th district that I represent is the poster child for middle neighborhoods. 95%, 41% of all neighborhoods in the city of Philadelphia are considered to be middle neighborhoods or middle markets.
A popular festival that people haven't seen here in years is coming back to Cleveland's North Coast Harbor. After a 6-year hiatus, the tall ships are coming back to Cleveland. Mayor Frank Jackson remarked that the tall ships give us all a peek into the past.
They provided movement of commerce, and they allow for the development of cities like the city of Cleveland. So it is a very important look at not only the tall ships today and reminiscing, but it's really about a historical perspective of what made Cleveland and other Great Lakes cities what they are today. And that would not have happened without these vessels.
As for the specifics of the Tall Ships Festival, Downtown Cleveland Alliance President and CEO gave us all the info.
One of the things, obviously, that we're going to announce today is the fact that 10 tall ships will be joining us for this year's festival. And participants will be able to board these ships. They'll be able to participate in sailaways, which allows people to actually go on the ships and go out into Lake Erie. And obviously, as a festival, we'll enjoy great food, great music. We'll enjoy educational exhibits as part of the approach that we're taking.
Michael Raworth is chairman of the Tall Ships America Board. He says there is an educational experience for the crew of trainees who bring the ships into the port.
These ships exist to provide a significant challenge, an authentic challenge to the trainees on board. They get a time away from their digital screens, and they get hands-on experience working a big, complicated vessel, steering the vessel, climbing aloft, handling sails, handling lines and rigging on the deck, managing the shifting of sails to tack the vessel through the wind. It's a big deal, and it's a matter that is virtually guaranteed to bring out a sense of great pride in the minds of the trainees. And so we find that experience is very often life-altering for the trainees, because many of them have never had that kind of immediate feedback, rewarding experience before, or at least not in such intensity. They also have the experience of it's anti-isolationist, because they're with a group of peers, a group of other students of the same age, people who are also coming from a situation where they are not experienced with the vessel. You know, most of them are coming from a non-maritime background, so they're getting thrown into the blades, if you will, this experience. And it's a great bonding experience. And not only that, they learn that they have to work together because the thing will not work without them. And if you're not pulling your weight, then it's going to impose more burden on the other guy.
The tall ships are expected to sail into Cleveland on July 11th of 2019. Councilman Blaine Griffin hosted the Ward 6 Community Festival and coat giveaway. Food and drinks were provided and residents had a chance to get a free coat for themselves and their family. Councilman Griffin says this event has many ways it can benefit residents and he's really excited about it.
Man, I love the people, man. And when I got out here, we've seen a need and we've been talking to some of the schools and we've also talked to some of the community development corporations, the Slavic Village, Union Miles Development Corporation, Burton Bell Card, Mount Pleasant, and they all said this is something that they get a big need for, is coats. So when the Alphas and the Deltas reached out to me, I said this is something that we really want to do for the community. But we party with a purpose. We also have a high infant mortality morbidity rate. So I wanted to make sure that we had First Year Cleveland and Moms First and Metro Health Hospital so we can educate women on making sure we do those things as well. So this coat giveaway is important, and I just thank all of the people that stepped up. Judge Michael Donnelly stepped up, Nate Kelly from Cushman and Wakefield. So we're just excited that everybody came together to make this a great event for this community.
We asked event organizer Joe Clark why it was important for him to get involved.
To be honest, man, Cleveland is a cold city to live in, and it's a lot of young children, a lot of women, single parents, honestly raising these children alone. And not a lot of them have the income or the resources to keep their children warm in the winter.
We asked residents what they thought of the event and the program.
I think it's pretty awesome because a lot of people are unfortunate to buy coats for their children. So the fact that we have something for us out here is pretty cool.
I was expecting to be in a long, drawn-out line, and it wasn't like that. And I'm really happy that I can get some coats for them.
I mean, it just overwhelms me. Me being a product of a low-income community, East Cleveland, Ohio, I can feel what they're going through. I can feel the struggle. And when that winter hits and you're not properly prepared, it does something to you mentally and psychologically as you walk into school, bearing that cold, going into class, and all your friends have newer coats or a different book bag or something that you don't necessarily have, and that honestly takes a toll on you when you sit down and trying to focus your mind to get your studies. You're just thinking about going back outside or little things like that. So my initiative, my goal is just to put a warm jacket on as many as children needed in this Ward 6 community.
The event was a kickoff of the upcoming Warm Coats, Warm Hearts giveaway with Burlington Coat Factory, which is coming up on December 8th. Well, the Slavic Village neighborhood has a brand new garden that visitors and residents can visit, and also they can learn from.
1, 2, 3, go!
All right.
A ribbon cutting was held at the new Polish Heritage Garden at the Polish American Cultural Center on East 65th and Lansing Avenue. Executive Director of the center, Jean Bach, tells us more.
The whole idea over here is educational. What we wanted to do is people who have really very little idea what Poland is all about, that Poland has a over 1,000-year history. And so we designed this thing to have an oval walkway, and there's 27 placards in here, and these placards represent major events in every century of the Polish history.
We asked Councilman Anthony Brancatelli, whose ward is home to the new garden, what he thought of the new addition.
Really excited about the opportunity both to reuse land in a very productive way, and just as important is to recognize the history of our Polish community and the impact that Poland has had in our neighborhood, Slavic Village, and within our city and our region. It's exciting to see the history of all the great accomplishments that have gone on with both Polish composers, artists, the history of our community, and it's wonderful to dedicate that today on the 100th anniversary of the independence of Poland.
Councilman Brancatelli has been just fabulous. So is the mayor of Cleveland. He participates in our Constitution Day celebrations, which is on May the 3rd. We have a parade here at Slavic Village, and he has been very, very supportive.
Council President Kevin Kelly presented Gene with a proclamation from Cleveland City Council. In addition, Chief of Regional Development for the city, Ed Rybka, presented a proclamation on behalf of Mayor Jackson to honor the dedication of the garden.
Mayor Jackson's been very supportive of the development of this Polish Cultural Center in Cleveland. The Polish community has had a tremendous impact and role in the historical development of Cleveland, and the mayor has made many a trip here to the Polish Cultural Center, participating in the Polish Constitution Day parades, again recognizing the importance of that ethnic group and that mosaic of ethnic groups that makes up Cleveland.
President of the Cuyahoga Land Bank, Gus Frangos, gave us his reaction to being involved in this special project.
I was delighted because we deal with a lot of difficult projects. We eliminate blight, and it doesn't often turn into a beautiful cultural garden such as this. These are the most gratifying projects for the Cuyahoga Land Bank because it not only cleans up an area, but it really promotes the history of the city, its cultural roots, and it just makes Cleveland a better place.
I call it a calling card for the Slavic Village because it is beautiful, it is meaningful, and it's very, very educational.
The so-called Greater Cleveland held the centennial commemoration of the Independence Day for Czechoslovakia. Historian Steven Sebesta tells us why they chose this location for the celebration.
This location is a place that both the Czechs and the Slovaks came together and actually had signed an agreement, which was the first time that they actually joined forces to begin the process of forming up this country of Czechoslovakia. And the future president of Czechoslovakia, Masaryk, basically came here and was trying to solicit help from the American Czechs and Slovaks to support him in his idea of setting up a separate country. So Cleveland ended up being a very instrumental part of the formation of the Constitution of the country.
Ward 12 Councilman Anthony Brancatelli spoke highly of the Czech people and their heritage.
I can't say enough about what they mean to our community, what they mean to our city, and this was one of the largest settlements of the Czech Republic, and we're excited that they chose to make this their home. So we're really pleased to be honoring on behalf of the city of Cleveland, on behalf of the mayor, and recognizing them on this special day.
Number one, we Czechs always have fun. We're a people who are very attuned to music, as you can already hear in the background. But basically, this gives us an opportunity periodically to get together and essentially share our heritage, both in music, culture, making acquaintances with family that we haven't seen in a long time. And it is a fun event. It's mostly fun because of the fact that you're sharing this with people who you may not have seen for a long time.
Councilman Brancatelli gave a proclamation to Mr. Sebesta on behalf of both Mayor Frank Jackson and Cleveland City Council, designating October 28, 2018, Czechoslovakia Independence Day in the city of Cleveland.
I just also want to really acknowledge this hall and its presence in the community and how it's important to the revitalization of our neighborhood. This is part of Sokol Greater Cleveland, which is an amazing, amazing gymnastics and character building program for young children. And so you can come by here on any weekday and see hundreds of kids out here going through the Sokol program, learning and building skills and becoming good citizens.
Volunteers came to Halloran Park with shovels and gloves, ready to help beautify their favorite rec center. The event was called Planting with a Purpose, and this is the second year of the beautification program. Local comedian and founder of the group Random Acts of Kindness Everywhere, Ricky Smith, came up with the Planting with a Purpose idea last year, along with AJ Petiti.
Halloran Park, we're doing about 1,500 plants and shrubs at this location. Just a bunch of good people come together. AJ Petiti, a friend of mine at Petiti's Garden Center, thought it'd be a cool idea over 10 years to do he wants to do 100,000 plants and trees and shrubs around the city of Cleveland. So who am I to deny this guy that wants to make the city great? So linked up together. Somehow he always picks a Saturday that's really, really raining, but it makes the ground soft, and it's just good people out here having fun.
AJ Petiti said a lot of work had been done ahead of time to make the day successful.
We've been digging holes for about 3 days, so there was a lot of prep work going on before, behind the scenes. And then this morning, basically just started taking the plants, laying them out where they're going to go, and then getting the Miracle-Gro soils, getting those out next to the holes, and then now we're just starting to plant. And really probably about 3 hours total, we'll get 3,000 plants planted.
The rain didn't dampen the volunteers' spirits as everyone was ready to get to work. A lot of the equipment used was donated by MTD, who also showed up with their own volunteers ready to work.
This is a yearly plan that we do here at MTD where we reach out to different areas of the community and make a better place with some of the power tools that we have and a lot of the people that we have, all the volunteers. Thanks for showing up and showing off.
Halloran Park Center Manager Marianne Fields is very appreciative of all the help and all the hard work being put in to improve the look of Halloran Park.
We're just very thankful and grateful to AJ, Petiti, all the volunteers, St. Joseph Academy, the city workers that came out, the other businesses. This is an amazing park and we have a lot of space and they just made it a lot more beautiful, and I can't wait to the spring till it all blooms and we see it all.
For more information on Ricky Smith and his organization, Random Acts of Kindness Everywhere, visit his website at rakenow.org. The National Federation of the Blind of Ohio held their annual conference at the Holiday Inn in Strongsville. Over 200 people came out to listen and learn from speakers, share their stories, learn the latest in technology, and more.
It is exciting and rewarding. We advocate for infants as well as seniors, and so we have a large span of different people, nationality. We're just a big, diverse family.
These conventions are designed to both empower individuals who are blind and help them connect with resources that are available in their communities and throughout their state. I am tremendously excited because I'm a resident of Ohio only for the last 3 years. I grew up here but moved away a while back, and so I was really glad to be able to come back to Ohio and be part of the greatness that is the disability rights kind of movement that we have going on here.
It's a family. It's a time that for once in time of the year you get to be in the majority, and pretty much everything is catered for you. That's an experience we don't get much of.
I'm very excited to be able to display to the world that as the National Federation of the Blind, we've always believed in the full capacity of blind people. We understand that blindness is not what holds us back.
And it's a battery charging experience for all of us. Blindness is what's called a low incidence disability. That means that when we go home, we are probably the only blind person around us in the community. And so we don't have anybody who understands the frustrations that we have when people say, oh yes, it's right over there, or watch out. So it's terrific to be together, and we hear reports on what's happened during the past year. We make plans for what we're going to do in the following year, and we generally energize each other.
Barbara says the NFB may have been around for over 70 years, but they still have a lot of work to do.
When it was founded in 1940, it was founded by blind people who understood that if anything was ever going to change constructively for blind people, we were going to have to do the job ourselves, because sighted people simply don't know or understand or frankly even care about the kinds of issues that we're interested in. And so, unfortunately, we've been working hard for 72 years. We haven't got it all solved.
And a lot of baby boomers are losing vision due to the macular degeneration. It could be diabetes. So we just want to reach out to anyone that needs our help, that is losing vision or become blind, to let them know they can live the life they want with proper training, education, and advocacy, and definitely mentorship. We mentor people who look like us and let them know that, we're here for them and they can be productive.
I hope that people who are blind learn that they can live the life they want, and that the National Federation of the Blind transforms dreams into reality, and that we will do anything we can to help them build the life that they want to live.
We are here to help blind people figure out that it is respectable to be blind and that their lives are not over.
Amen. For more information on the National Federation of the Blind of Ohio, visit nfbohio.org and their national chapter at nfb.org. The Hate You Give is a serious film that takes a look at racial tension and police violence. The Cleveland Police Foundation recently held a special screening for select Cleveland area youth.
The purpose of today's event was to bring our youth and our police officers together for an authentic, honest dialogue about youth-police relations. And what we did was we utilized the film, The Hate You Give, as the basis of that conversation.
A number of students from various schools and law enforcement from different cities viewed the movie together, followed by a healthy discussion from both sides.
Today's movie was so inspirational. Of course, there have been other movies like it, but just to have the perspective of a teenager who had lost her friend and seen, like, being in the event of losing her friend, being right there as her friend passed away is just so traumatic. So I feel like that made a really big impression, and it's showing her, like, to use her voice about telling her friend's story.
Beyond Cleveland, right, so nationally there are strained relationships between the police and communities of color, right? And then when you drill down and you actually look at the city of Cleveland, there's data based from the community survey in 2016 that says that police and the community have, like, the community, specifically communities of color, do not trust the police officers, right? So you have to ask, and then when you drill it down further, you look at our youth, right? Our youth really don't have a trust for police officers because what they've seen and what they experience.
I mean, they need to feel like they can trust the police because with everything that's going around, you know, it's hard for trust to be built and things like that. So with that being said, the kids getting into conversation and talking to the police and getting to know their side so that they not only see from their point of view, but from their point of view too, and then the police got the chance to see how it is to be a youth and having to deal with the police.
As we saw today, it's not just the black kids who have issues with what's going on. You have white kids who are seeing it, they're reading the data, they're pulling statistics, and they're like, wait a minute, we see disparities, and why is that existing?
The youth in attendance were totally aware of the significance of this event and why it was important to have this dialogue with the law enforcement.
In today's society, with media and what we see of police brutality, institutional racism, injustice of minorities, it really does start with this generation because this generation is basically millennials coming up. So it's like, if this is all they see in the media, which is media is a very big thing in this generation, they're gonna have a perception of the police of, okay, they are aggressive, they're dominant, they're an authority figure that is abusing their power, and we don't want that. The police is supposed to be here to protect us, things like that. So if we don't have that community engagement, it's gonna be a gap.
I hope that the kids learn that they have a voice and that they can use it to make the world a better place. And I hope that today they walked away with an understanding that not all police are the same. Just like every race isn't the same, and just because it's a stereotype doesn't mean that you live up to that stereotype. You can be whatever you want to be. And I hope that they learn that it's okay to say what you want to say and be heard.
That's all for your TV20 News. We are Cleveland. I'm Leah Haslidge. Up next, we'll have Christian Patterson with the Inside Sports Report. Happy holidays to you and yours.